Welcome to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers with Linda Prio. Will it be possible to remain in my home as I age? Do I feel safe in my home? How do I figure out how much support I will need when my health needs start to change? What if I decide to move into a community instead? Which community will meet my needs now and in the future? Who will play a role in helping me with decision making? Do you ask yourself these same questions? Aging in Place Strategies and Answers can help you gain practical knowledge that will help you create your own Aging in Place roadmap. If you are already a care partner, a power of attorney, or in crisis mode with your Aging in Place strategy, you will learn what you need to know that you don't know. For over 20 years, I have been marketing Aging in Place services to clients and educating families and healthcare professionals in how to put aging in place strategies into place. When you utilize aging in place, you are allowed to choose where you want to live and make those decisions so that you can retain your quality of life. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers. And today I'm going to encourage you to get out and vote. If you're like me and the people that I talk to, many people are wondering whether they should actually go and vote. In fact, I've heard of some couples saying, well, he's going to vote one way, I'm going to vote the other way. Why should I even do that? But it is important that we go out and cast our ballots, and here are some reasons why. Did you know that 60% of all voters are seniors? And so if most of the voters are seniors, I think we can draw the conclusion that if we get to the poll, the items that are more important to us will definitely mean that our voice will be heard. I also think it's important to understand that sometimes what we're hearing and seeing is not the whole story. So on my TV and on yours, there are commercials, there are videos, there are ads, but I'm just going to tell you from a podcaster's point of view that I edit videos, so I can take out a lot of parts that I don't want to include. And when it comes to creating a sound bite to get you to listen to the podcast or to listen to that particular commercial or that news item, they create this very enticing sound bite. The same as you would if you were trying to encourage somebody to go to a movie, that the producer would say, hey, what are the most, the parts of the movie that would draw the person in the quickest. And so just be aware that even though we're seeing, hearing, watching, reading, that if we aren't doing our part, sometimes we're just getting part of the story or just what makes a good headline. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she told me that she had gone to the vote.org website, and she said that you can put your zip code in to that portal, and you will be able to see what will appear on your local ballot. Vote.org is a nonpartisan nonprofit that is committed to advocating for voters in every state. So you can check your registration, you can register to vote, you can request a ballot to vote by mail. You can also see what is on the ballot in your area and get voting reminders sent to your inbox. That was vote.org in case you're interested. VoteSmart.org is another nonpartisan organization that provides free, factual, unbiased information on candidates and elected officials to all Americans. This website was really interesting because you can enter a candidate's name or you can enter an elected official's name and you can find out who's funding them. You can listen to their full speeches and not sound bites. And then you can see how they're rated and what their positions are on the issues. And I put in a local candidate and I was kind of surprised where they were on the issue. So it was really helpful. VoteSmart.org is the name of that organization. And then, of course, the League of Women Voters is also a reputable organization. And by using Vote 411, you can get all the candidate information you are looking for, and it even comes in a language that you speak. So if you are French, you'll hear all the information in French. If you're Spanish, the same. So this is a great website to use, especially if you have a language other than English as your first language. Becoming an educated voter helps you feel more confident when you go to the polls and helps you to understand what issues you are actually voting for. And of course, if you should push yes or no. In my municipality, I received my sample ballot so that I could see who was on the ballot and what amendments and propositions would be voted on in the November 5th election. This was so helpful to me, and it gave me the time to research the issues and come to a decision on how I wanted to cast my vote. Let's take a moment and hear from our sponsor.
Which would you rather spend per month, $4,000 to $6,000 and live in an assisted living community, or less than $60 a month and remain at home? The Electronic Caregiver is a safety device that can help you remain safe in your home in both medical and safety situations. Electronic Caregiver can have many options that can be tailored to the needs of the individual, giving you peace of mind. Electronic Caregiver is available nationwide. Let's talk. Cheryl Wilson, 314-283-0943.
Let's return to the podcast. In your business life or in your work life, have you ever heard this admonishment from a person in management? They might say, "Hey, Judy, I hear your complaint. I understand that you have a valid concern, but when you bring a complaint to me, can you also bring a possible solution to how this situation could be resolved?" As we know, in any election, there are going to be varying positions, viewpoints, and complaints about the electoral process. So I just want to share with you a couple of ideas on how to get involved and make a difference rather than to simply complain about the process. The National Education Association.org, NEA.org, had a great story about a former educator who decided to do something about being disenfranchised with our system. The teacher had retired after a 30-year teaching career and decided to dedicate countless hours to political action, lobbying elected leaders, testifying before the state legislature, and helping to get out the vote by writing postcards and making calls to voters around election time. My local government, as well as many neighboring communities, have created senior advisory committees. These local committees are formed to review and analyze a full range of traditional and future policy issues concerning residents that live in that community who were 60 years old and above. The committee in my municipality assists city officials in making decisions regarding the city's service responsibilities to our seniors. But if you're looking for something bigger, bigger issues, a bigger splash in the pond, if you will. In Missouri, the first group of its kind, the Silver-Haired Legislature, was founded in 1973. And this group is a statewide organization in Missouri that advocates for the legislative interests of older adults. And this is how it works. The Silver-Haired Legislature is made up of volunteers who are 60 years or older. They serve without pay. Now, many senior communities have senior centers. And so these senior centers are the ones who will identify the volunteer and then submit their names to be considered as one of the Silver-Haired legislators. This group of folks meets to identify the needs of seniors in their districts. They create bills and resolutions and present them at a statewide conference in the fall. Another idea to become a part of the solution or to become part of the process is to become an election judge. I will be working the polls as an election judge this year, now that I have been trained. Many communities use trained election judges, and these judges can be younger, they can be older, but they all go through the same training. And I am super excited about this opportunity to learn from the inside what the voting process looks like. I learned in my training about the safeguards that are practiced, as well as the care and attention given to each voter and their particular situation. I also learned about the safety features that are put into place to make sure that their vote is handled properly. Now, you're probably too late for this election, but how about next year? Tossing your name into the hat to become an election judge, or to see if your community has a senior advisory board or even a silver-haired legislator. Let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor.
The Neptune Society is the oldest and largest cremation service in the United States. For over 50 years, the Neptune Society has been proud to provide signature service to the families they've served. With a pre-arranged funeral plan, you can declare what you want done at the time of your passing, pay for it in advance, and not leave your survivors with the cost of your final arrangements. Call 314-266-2898. That's 314-266-2898.
Now let's return to the podcast. My listeners know that this podcast is usually for seniors, and it could be for the adult children or the caregivers that are working with them. So I learned some tips and some tricks that you might be able to benefit from when you go to cast your vote in the November election. Please understand that election judges are there to be helpful to you. If you have a unique voting situation, there are lead election judges, one from each party, Democrat and Republican, who will be able to help you with your unique voting situation needs. But for those that are coming to the polls and they might have diminished eyesight, in other words, macular degeneration or some other reason that they cannot read the ballot, it is important for you to share that information, and then an election judge, a Democratic election judge and a Republican election judge will help you to go to the ballot, read it to you so that you can cast your vote. if you should suffer from a movement disorder or a tremor of some sort that would prevent you from using the ballot and darkening in the little bubble next to the candidate or next to the yes or no vote that you're casting, again, let the election judges know that and that you need additional assistance. And again, a judge from each party will go over to your secure voting area and help you through this. I noticed that at the election authority, where there was a lot of voting, that there was curbside voting at your individual polling place. You may not see curbside voting, but you may send your representative into the polls with your information, and they will come out to the car as they have availability and make sure that you are your information is fed into the system. They know what ballot to get you, and then you will vote, and then you will be able to cast your vote from the car. But it will be on someone to come into the polling place to let them know about your unique situation. And remember, everybody has a turn, so you will also have a turn. And that is when they will come out to the car to help you vote. Now, I also thought it might be helpful if you checked your local municipality and state to see if you're allowed to bring a weapon into the polling place, such as a gun, or if pets are allowed inside the polling place. In my state, no guns are allowed and only service animals, but each state is different and has specific laws, so please make sure that you check your state. Now, to vote or not to vote, please vote. Everybody's vote counts. Yours will count too. And your election officials are doing their best to provide a safe place for you to vote. As always, practice kindness and courtesy to fellow voters, citizens, and election judges. It was nice being with you today, friends. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember that this podcast is intended as guidance and not advice. Share this podcast with friends and family who are currently in crisis mode or with people who would like to start developing their own roadmap for aging in place. Listeners, if you would like a deeper dive into a topic discussed during a podcast, please subscribe to Aging in Place Strategies and Answers, where you will be able to access premium content. Or if you would like to suggest a topic for this podcast, please contact me at linda.agingstrategies@gmail.com. As always, I value the time you spend with me.